Hello on this
Hi.
wintry day.
Yeah.
It's not winter yet though.
No.
I've got to remind myself that's
Really?
coming.
But it is getting darker.
It is, yeah.
And that reminds us of Dark Mofo coming up and our Luminous Festival.
That's right. Well, we get to talk about brave spaces.
Yeah, which is part of what we want to do as Hobart Baptist Church. Talk about those things that are difficult to talk about in our community, or where people want to counsel us and not even have the conversation. And you're not even allowed to express a question, because the question
Sometimes,
might betray something in you that's horrible or whatever.
Yes,
And
but we want to talk about those things. So how do you do that? That's the brave space that we're talking about.
So let's do it.
Let's talk about one of those.
This week, the
Okay.
Law Reform Commission brought out their paper on gender conversion therapy
Yes.
and all the rest of stuff like that.
I don't know if you caught up with it, but it's a paper where they're expressing a desire to, well, what did they say exactly?
Oh, well, it's wanting to say, where do these things harm people? And when they say conversion therapy, they're not just talking about injections and stuff that psychologists do. They would even include prayer generally in that idea.
Praying for someone in that situation.
Particularly someone who's struggling with their sexuality and not trying to dissuade them from what's going on in their lives. So it's a difficult and a fraught area, particularly, as we have got friends or people that we know and family and acquaintances who are struggling in this
With
area.
these things, yeah.
With their sexuality, their gender, whatever it is. And how do we as a community and as a church have the right response? I guess the interesting thing was that what they said in the report was fairly predictable, and what ACL said in response was fairly predictable.
So that's the Australian Christian Lobby?
Yeah. And that's a bit sad.
Yeah.
Because when we think about it, we think, well, actually, what would Jesus do? How would Jesus respond?
How would we love people in that situation?
Yeah. Because the heart of the report is wanting to care for people who are doing it tough. And Jesus met them profoundly and wanted them to know that God loves them despite what was going on in their lives, whether they were tax collectors, prostitutes, whoever they were. Jesus wanted them to know that He loved them. But Jesus had a different message to the ruling authorities and to the church and all the rest of it. So we've got to be really careful about who we're speaking to in this debate.
Yes. And that's part of the problem, isn't it? The nuances and the shades of grey and the where the authority lines lie, because we can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. And it's tricky.
It is tricky and complex. I think I come down to this point, is that we as the church haven't been called by God to be the moral custodians of our community. The church has often done that, but we haven't been called to do that. We've been called to be the grace dispensers.
Grace dispensers, I like that.
So
that's what we do.
So as we think about these issues and more issues, what does it mean for us to be a church that's brave in being a grace dispenser? That would be my final sort of very quick summary of how we might respond.
How do we show grace in this situation, and how do we love people where they're at, no matter what they're up to and what's going on?
And allow God to reveal His love and His grace to them amidst whatever they're going through, and allow God to actually convict them of their sin, like we trust God does with all of us.
Yeah.
Because we're all sinners, doesn't matter what it is.
That's right. Okay, well, we'll catch you next week.
Bye.